everybody's situated, go ahead. Questions for Rob?
Rob, you're now 4-0 at home. I know this record obviously can't go on throughout the season, but how important is it to reset benchmark for undefeated 100% at home start of the year?
Yeah, no, I think that's, something I think most teams probably talk about every year, but definitely not something we've tried to focus on this year, is trying to make sure that we do take care of business at home as much as possible, pick up as many 3 points when we're here as we can. We know how hard being on the road is in the USL, and points are hard to come by. So, I think you're always just trying to score as many as you can on the road, but it's always important to pick up as many 3 points as you can while we're here.
What kind of view did you have for the opening goal?
Barely woke up, honestly. I looked up and perfect start, honestly. I mean, it kind of settles the nerves a little bit and give the guys something to hang on to straight off the bat. I kind of looked at Bushy at that point. I'm like, all right, it's like we've talked about clean sheet a lot this year, and like if we keep a clean sheet now, like we'll get the win. So perfect start.
Albert's had a knack for this early in matches. He's definitely a Riverhound. I mean, what is it about him that he can find those skills?
I mean, you guys know, you've seen him for the last several years. Like, he just plays with an intensity. So right off the bat, he wants to win his first duel. He wants to win his first header, get his first shot off as early as he can in the game. So I think he's just alive, and a little bit of luck, probably the way the ball drops to him, but he's alert and ready. And some strikers may not be kind of ready for a chance to come that early in the game. They may need to kind of be a little warmer, but thankfully he took it.
So Rob, you talked about the last time we were here, you talked about taking your foot off the pedal.
Yeah.
So even though you didn't have the bulk of possession in the first half, it felt like you were dominating, right?
Yeah.
And then it kind of in the second half, it felt as if it did the last game. And then how big is that second goal, coming with the extra time,
I think the first half, I think our pressure was really good on the ball. They tried to continue to play through it, which I think played into our hands. But again, I think a lot of that was just we were getting on top of the ball, so we weren't really giving them the long option, and they kept having to try and solve it in the shorts, with some short passes, and we were just kind of really, on the front foot and defending well. So while we didn't have a ton of the ball, I think a lot of that came down to kind of the way we were defending and winning the ball high and then kind of transitioning a little bit quicker. So I would have liked us to have had a bit more of the ball, just to kind of settle it at times, but we go into the second half and they obviously start getting a bit more desperate, and they start throwing a bit more caution to the wind, and our pressure drops off a little bit too. So you're kind of trying to figure out on the sideline, how do we solve it? Didn't really want to go into a back five and just kind of absorb more pressure. It was finding ways to continue to get pressure on the ball and secure it once we were able to get out of our own half. The second goal was huge because again, gives us a little bit of an extra buffer, gives the guys a little bit more belief. I'm sure it was in the back of their mind, kind of going into the last little stretch that we hadn't kept a clean sheet and still haven't. So to get the second goal from Chico was big. And again, came off a pressing moment. I think the guys that were out there kept pressing. We made the change. We got Charles on to continue that pressure. That was kind of Brad's instruction when he went on too, was to make sure we maintain that in junior. So I think kudos to the guys for continuing to kind of keep pressing the ball up high.
You good? Just about the squad rotation this week and getting the team for it. What did it mean?
Obviously we made some changes in New York in the week to make sure that we were fresh going into tonight. I think we're able to do that. We have a good amount of depth on our roster and plenty of guys now who've started games and done well, and some guys have done better than others. And I think we're definitely glad to be out of this kind of stretch now where we've had 3 midweek games in the past 4 weeks. I think we'll be glad to get a couple of days of rest, get the guys back in on Tuesday, and get a full week of training to prepare for Greenville next week. And then we have 2 weeks. We have Greenville and Phoenix, and then it gets tough again. So be nice to be back home for a couple of weeks and then kind of get our legs back underneath us.
I wanted to ask you, I know I might not see you for a week, so I figured I'd ask you now. Greenville, Dave Dixie's the head coach there. He's the Mark Steffen's disciple. That might be a little bit of a narrative this coming week, but just your thoughts about, going up against that group. I'm sure you haven't really had a chance to look at them that much. Just your thoughts about that matchup and really what Mark Steffen's made mean to you in your soccer career and soccer journey?
Yeah, I mean the game, like you said, I mean we've kind of been so focused on today that we haven't truly turned our focus to Greenville. We will do tomorrow morning. I know that some of our staff probably knows Dave a little better than I do. But again, for that competition and for that game, we want to continue to build momentum. We have a week between this game and that game. We'll have a week off afterwards, so we'll approach that game, as we would any league game and try and win the game at full strength. And yeah, just I really enjoyed my time with Mark. It was only one season, but still talk with him usually in the off season. We'll talk about players and we'll catch up every now and again. So I have a lot of respect for Mark and enjoyed my relationship with him.